Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I wish you all the best for 2022, but most importantly, I wish that you stay healthy and that you take care of one another because that's the most important right now. So Happy New Year to you and your loved ones. Today, I thought I would kick in the new year with something a bit different than what I usually do. For those of you who know me, I am a planner channel, but I thought I would share with you a different passion that I have, and that is for reading, because I thought, why not share my favorite books of 2021? So if you're interested, then keep on watching, although I already spoiled two of those favorite books. So I would go, all of them are favorites, but I will go to, I will save, so I will save the best, my favorite books of the year to the end. So on the bottom list, but still a favorite of mine, is Kukum by Michel. This book is in French because I'm French, but I do not know if this is available in English. I'll have to look for that information. If I can find it, I'll link it down below. But if it's not, I'm sure it will probably be very soon, because this is a very popular book in Quebec and in other parts of the world where they speak French. Michel is an indigenous writer from Quebec, and this is the story. This is based on his great-grandmother who married indigenous man, and that's the story of her life. So the culture shock at the beginning, and then how she coped and became part of their family, part of that nation, the Innu Nation in Quebec. And it's really nicely written. It's simple yet very touching, and I highly recommend it. If you can read French, read it, and if not, check out for the English version of this, because it's a very nice story. There are two other books part of this series. I haven't read them yet. I'm going to read it this year, now that we're in 2022. So Kukum. Then the other great read was The Ghost Bride by Yangsze Choo. And this year was the year that I wanted to dive more into Malaysian authors, because I'm part Malaysian, my mom's Malaysian, and she gave me a book a few years back, and I don't know why I waited so long to read this book, but I'm saving it for the end because that is my favorite book of 2021, but it's written by a Malaysian author. And when I read that, I was like, wow, well, why should I not read more of Malaysian authors? So when you go onto the internet and type like most famous books written by Malaysian authors, this one always comes up. So this is the story of Lilan, and she is Malaysian back in the day. So when is this set? Oh, it's 1893. So when Malaysia was called Malaya before its independence. And it's the story of this girl who is promised to a young man who's just deceased. So she's offered to become a ghost bride, and this is an actual practice that used to exist back in the day, and it's the first time that I actually heard about it. So it was very interesting, and it's more of a fantasy novel, but it was so good. And they came out with a Netflix series. I watched it. It was good. It was okay. I mean, I preferred a book, but it was quite entertaining. So if you want to watch that instead, then go for it. But I highly recommend this. This was something I never read anything like it. and it was great. So the next book on my list of favorite books of the year is Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I love this. First of all, Michelle Obama writes really, really well, and it was just so interesting to learn more about her life and how intelligent this woman is, really. And yeah, I've been meaning to read Barack Obama's autobiography, A Promised Land, but haven't yet had the chance. But that is on my list. Maybe this year, I don't know. I have so many books I want to read this year, so if it's not this year, it'll be next year. But if you haven't read Michelle Obama's Becoming, but I'm sure most of you have read it because it's been out for some time now, definitely worth it. The next book on my list is Jane Eyre, and this was by Charlotte Brontë, and this was actually a reread because I read this when I was a kid. I don't know, maybe 12 years old, but honestly, I couldn't remember much of the story, or it must have been an abridged version because I do not remember all of this happening in the book that I read when I was 12. And okay, first, can we please have mentioned this stunning cover? So this is the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition, and how cool is this cover? So I'm not one who usually buy a book just for its cover, but I did it for this one because the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition has become like my favorite collection to have. So yeah, this is stunning. Look at the inside. And this artwork was made by Ruben Toledo, and I've noticed that out of all of the covers in the deluxe edition collection, his art is my favorite. Like, whenever I'm drawn to one of them and then I look who the illustrator is, it's always Ruben Toledo. So he has something that I love. And Jane Eyre, of course most of you know the story. This is a classic, and it's a classic for a reason, and it was so entertaining, and I had so much fun rereading this. So the next book is Beartown by Frederick Blackmon, and I know I'm late to the game, but this is 2021 was the year that I discovered Frederick Backman, and I'm in love. So I want to read every piece of work of his this year because I absolutely love Beartown. Oh, and I'm sorry, I think I forgot to mention the rating. So I cannot remember, but Kukum was a 4 out of 5. The Ghost Bride, a 4 out of 5. Michelle Obama and Jane Eyre, 5 out of 5. And Beartown 5 out of 5. I love this story. I moved to Canada a few years ago, and I absolutely love hockey. Hockey here is a thing, and so I could relate to this small little town in Sweden, and I cannot wait to read the next 2 books of the series because this was, and his writing, like, he writes so well. So yeah, this was it's the story of a small hockey town in Sweden, and the daughter of the GM of the club gets raped one night, and then it's the story of how this little town copes with it. And the characters in here are just so adorable. Like, I cared for a lot of them, and yeah, I cannot wait to see how they grow up and what they become in the next books. So this is my 3rd favorite read of 2021. My 2nd favorite, I only have 2 more books. Yeah. So my 2nd book is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. And oh, this so I have to start by saying that historical fiction is one of my favorite genres to read, and this one was, it took me, so I must say that I listened to the audiobook of this book, and it was great. I do not know who read it. I could insert it here somewhere, but she did a stunning job reading this book, really. And now, how when I'm not sure if I would like a book or not, oftentimes I would take it from the library and or listen to the audiobook of it, just because I'm trying to limit my spending on books. So, and then I'll usually get the copy, like the physical copy, if I'm absolutely sure I love that book and I want it in my collection. But so I listened to the audiobook of this, and although it was great, I would literally sell my soul to be able to read this on paper, because I know I got teary-eyed listening to the audiobook, but I know had I read this on paper, I would have sobbed for sure. Like, this was so beautiful. It's the story of two sisters in France during Nazi occupation, and Vianne is the bigger sister. She has a kid. Her husband is a prisoner of war, and she has to cope alone. And a Nazi soldier even stays at her home, and she has a little sister, and the little sister, she's the rebel one. Like, Elizabeth, she's a teenager, and she joins the resistance, and that's the story of these two characters, and the bond between them is just magnificent. And I'm so happy to know that this is coming out, I think this year or maybe next year, in a movie. And it's going to be, I mean, I hope it meets my expectation, because the novel was really nice, and the story stayed with me months after I finished this book. So if you're into historical fiction, if you're into World War II fiction, then you will absolutely love this book. I mean, I hope you will. And this will be, it will stick for me for years, and I hope I'll reread it again before the movie comes out, and I'm so excited. So my favorite book of 2021 is The Garden of Evening Mist by Twan Eng. And this book, oh my goodness. Well, this book took me out of a reading slump, first of all. And this is the book that I was mentioning my mom gave to me like 6 years ago maybe, and it just stood on the shelf for that long, and I beat myself up for not picking up this book sooner. But this summer I did, and this is my favorite book of the year. So it's the story of a Malaysian woman judge as she think about her past, when Malaysia, at that time Malaya, was occupied by Japanese soldiers, and her sister, and I just thought that both of these are stories of during World War II and stories of sisters, although this one doesn't touch much on like the sisterhood, but still they were both in prison in camps, and her sister died, and that's she always dreamed, her sister, and maybe I'm giving too much. If I am, then maybe just switch off the video if you do not want to. I mean, I hope I'm not spoiling anyone, but so the sisters, one of her, she loves Japanese gardens. And so this judge, when she gets out, I mean a few years after the war, and I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but because this book left me all over the place with emotions. And it's basically the story of this judge trying to cope with the loss, and the loss of her memory too, because she's slowly losing her memory, and she just wants to honor the memory of her sister. It's Go check out the synopsis. It's a beautiful, beautiful novel. It was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2012 and winner of the Man Asian Literary Prize 2012. And yeah, this Twan Eng writes beautifully. Like, it's his writing. If you like novels that are beautifully written, you will love this, I'm sure. This was my favorite book of 2021 and will be on my top, I don't know, 10 or favorite novels of my life. Like this, the story stayed with me until today. It's still haunting me, like here it says. It's beautiful. So much so that so this is my personal copy that is heavily annotated, and I would probably never share this with anybody. So I was browsing my secondhand bookstore and I found this copy. So I will leave this intact, and for whoever wants to like borrow it, then feel free, because this is my favorite book. And for Christmas, I even gifted myself a nice present, which is this limited edition copy of The Garden of Evening Mist by Twan Eng, and it comes in like this book sleeve, and it's a hardcover book. It's signed by the author and blah blah blah. But yeah, this is how much I love this book, is that I'm willing to spend for a copy that, yeah, I annotate my books, but I'll never annotate this one because it's so beautiful. So yeah, this, go check it out. Highly recommend. You will not be disappointed. And Twan Eng, this is actually his first novel, The Gift of Rain. I haven't read it yet. I'll be reading this year, very soon. You see, this one was nominated for the Man Booker Prize. I'm sure it will be. I know it's also set in Malaya during World War II when the Japanese were there, and I'm sure it will be beautiful. So this is his first novel. The Garden of Evening Mist is his second novel, and this, and I'm so sad that he only has 2 books. Like, he has to come up with other novels, because this man has got so much talent, and I want to read more of his. So Twan Eng, if you're ever listening to this video, please come up with new books. So yeah, there you have it. Let me know what were your favorites of 2021, and let me know if you've read any of those that I mentioned, and if so, did you like them, did you hate them? Anyway, let me know, and let me know as well, what will you be reading for 2022? And if you've enjoyed this video, or if you like this kind of video, let me know. I might integrate more of it on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Take care, guys. Bye.